That down, wanted to touch on this just kind of quickly. So this weekend, UFC 308 happened. And I got to say, it was a great, very, very entertaining card. And I just want to touch on a couple of the fights there, but two things really stood out to me. Number one was that this UFC 308 really felt like a changing of the guard. I feel like every 3 to 4 years, there's a generational change that happens in the UFC. And I feel like last night was really representative of that, or Saturday night was really representative of that. Talk about that in a second. Now, normally I don't like to talk about prelim fights, but oh my God, there was a prelim fight last night or Saturday night between, now guys, remember, it took me 2 years to learn how to properly say Nurmagomedov. So give me a break on the names, but Mateusz Rebecki,
John Smith
fought Mike Tibek Orlobai in what had to be, I was texting with Denizen, had to be one of the best fights, top 3 fights of the last 10 years. It was absolutely insane. These guys beat the living shit out of each other for 15 straight minutes. And at one point, when Orlobai, this is him, this guy's eye blew up like a frickin' balloon, and he was down and getting pounded in the face. And Daniel Cormier, who was calling play-by-play, he was like, this is over. This fight's over. This fight's over. Except it wasn't, because he got out of the position, got back to his feet, and started wailing on Mateusz. Just started wailing on him. By the end of it, these guys were covered in blood. And listen, I'm not saying it's one of the greatest fights because oh, there was so much blood. That's not why. It's because both of these guys stood in there. You know what? The fight reminded me a lot of the Bonner-Forrest Griffin fight, the Stephan Bonner-Forrest Griffin. It was two guys that neither would back down. They stood there, showed so much heart. They were getting beaten and bloodied, their eyes swelling over, all that kind of stuff, and neither of them gave an inch. They both kept advancing. They both kept throwing. Neither of them gave up. And it ended in a very well-deserved split decision. I thought it kind of could have gone either way. It went to Mateusz, and rightfully so, they won the $50,000 each bonus for fight of the night. And it was well-deserved for both of them. So good on them. All right. I just wanted to mention that. But now let's get into the main event, the main card here. I just want to touch on a couple of these fights quick. So Shara Bullet Magomedov beat Petrosian. One of these, Petrosian came out, looked pretty good. I mean, he was a massive underdog, looked really good. Magomedov started finding his timing and then ended the fight with something I've never seen before. A double spinning back fist.
What?
He hit him with a spinning back fist.
So Zangief?
Yeah, it was a Zangief moment. It was spinning back fist one way, connected, and then immediately spun the other way and connected and dropped him like a sack of potatoes.
So was it like one of those dolls in Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Yeah, like, that's what he looked like. Yeah. And he knocked him the hell out. It was beautiful. And he got a bonus.
He connected with both fists?
Yeah,
the second
spun
one more
back
than the
way,
first.
Boom, second one, knocked him out.
Yeah, he hit him like this.
This is
and then
no
the guy
cartoon.
dropped his hands and he hit him with
Yeah, it was.
Tell me he got the bonus for the night.
No.
Just for hitting that, he should get
Got knockout of the night, got the $50,000 bonus. So then, this was one of those this is definitely one of those changing the guard moments. Lerone Murphy defeats Dan Ige. I love Dan Ige. I think he's such an entertaining fighter. He's so talented, so good, but he's now lost 3 of his last 4. He is now becoming a true, which can be a very lucrative career being a good gatekeeper, but that's kind of what he is now. So that kind of felt like a little bit of a changing of the guard. Then in a wonderful fight, Magomed Ankalaev.
You're really going through it. These
I know Ankalaev.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I just want to chime in and say you're doing a great job. Not a chance I would get any of these even close.
You know how I remember Ankalaev? Because it sounds like they're saying Uncle Iev.
Oh.
Like his name's Iev.
Oh, that old chestnut.
Yeah, so I was thinking
That old
trick. That old trick, you
The
know?
old Uncle Iev trick.
Sorry, go ahead. There's so many consonants in a
Everybody
row.
knows Uncle Iev.
Yeah.
So Magomed Ankalaev defeats Ratchik. And that was another one where Ratchik looked pretty good at first. Some people think he might even took the first round. He looked pretty good, but eventually, look, what happens in these fights is as they draw on, the better fighter, it starts to become clear who the better fighter is, right? And this was just one of those things where Ankalaev was clearly the better fighter. And so he went on, won by unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. All right. Then the big ones. The co-main event was my most anticipated fight of the night. It was Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker. Chimaev really burst onto the scene. Remember this a few years ago where he came out, fought, won, took no damage. Then they had an opening on next week's card and he fought on the next week's card and then fought again 3 weeks later.
No, he's a
That was during
psychopath.
COVID, right?
Right at the beginning or in the middle of
Fight Island or whatever.
when it was happening in the athletic center there in Las Vegas, and the performance center, I should say. So that's where he really burst on the scene. And then he's just been undefeated ever since and just looks like an absolute dog. Robert Whittaker, on the other hand, is a guy in the UFC who just nobody beats unless their name is Israel Adesanya. That's it. And he's still a monster. And Chimaev just dominated him. First round, super low, double leg shoot, takes him down. Eventually, and Whittaker was helpless on the ground, turned around and got him in what looked like a guillotine choke, but he didn't even have him around the neck. He had him around the jaw and popped his jaw out.
Cool.
And Robert Whittaker, because the moment he put it on, Robert Whittaker tapped. It's like, that seems like a quick tap. It's because he busted his jaw.
My head's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
he broke his face.
Sure, yeah.
His face was broken.
So he squeezed,
Yeah.
and that's how it broke?
Yeah,
he
and
popped
you
it
saw
out.
Robert Whittaker immediately tap.
Jesus.
And then I think they showed a picture of he held down his bottom lip and his whole row of teeth was like shifted.
Oh, yeah,
like
it was
this.
shifted
like,
back.
Like,
No wonder when I was watching, I was wondering why he
Right now, his jaw just looks like that.
No, I was wondering why he tapped out so fast. Like I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
everybody
he's
was
about to
wondering.
go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that guy was crushing his
he
skull.
literally was crushing his skull. And it's like,
Christ.
like how, like he just, and here's the problem. And we were watching the fight and it's like, why is he ranked so low? Because he's like ranked in the teens, something like that. And I told her it's because people who are ranked for years avoid him.
Yeah, they don't fight
Nobody
him.
wants to fight him. And Robert Whittaker was the one guy that says, yeah, I want to fight the best there is out there. And he fought him. But like, you can't deny him anymore. He's got to be lined up for a title shot at this point. Anyway, so that truly felt like, even though Robert Whittaker had already lost to Israel, that just felt like one great guy beating another great guy. This kind of felt like a changing of the generation a little bit with Khamzat Chimaev winning there. So there was that. But then came the main event. Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Now, Ilia just beat Alexander the Great, who beat Max Holloway 3 times. And he went in there and he did what nobody had ever done to Alexander. He knocked him out to win the title. And so, Dennis and I were texting before the fight and we're both saying, I kind of hope Max wins, but I don't see how he beats Topuria. Because for a guy that light, bantamweight, were they flyweight or bantamweight? Now I can't remember. Anyway.
Feather.
Look it up. Why am I getting confused here? But anyway, Ilia Topuria has something that most guys in that weight division don't have. A nuclear arsenal in his fists. He has true one-punch knockout power.
He's featherweight.
He's featherweight.
That's right. Come on, man.
Something you don't see in a lot of featherweights. Like even Max Holloway does not have one-punch knockout power. He peppers and peppers and peppers and peppers until it finally puts you away. But Ilia, you could be fresh first round, whatever, and he'll one punch and he rocked Max, knocked him out. Something I had never seen before. And again, it felt like a true changing of the guard moment. That the Max Holloway era is now gone. It's done. And now the only guy left for Ilia to fight now, he's got to fight Alexander Volkanovski again because Volkanovski never got a rematch. But I don't see anybody in this division beating him.
From my minimal knowledge of this guy, it seems like I hate to throw to boxing, but that's what I watch. He's like the Gervonta Davis, where you actually
the Gervonta Davis
I'm just
comparisons.
saying he's the type of guy you have to. It seems like you have to knock him out in order to beat him.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can beat this guy.
And he
which
doesn't
is a
gap.
scary thing for any fighter to actually go into, where you actually have to believe in your power, timing, catch him at the right time, and actually put him to sleep, which is not an easy task for anybody. This guy looks solid against Max Holloway.
He looks so good.
Nothing he threw made the guy even. I think he was even bleeding somewhere in the face. Maybe in
He
the
started to
nose.
swell up under the eye a little bit. Didn't seem to phase him at
Still
all.
kept moving forward the whole time. It was just a matter of time. Five rounds in the octagon is a long time.
And here's Topuria doesn't. I was gonna say he doesn't gas out. Topuria, he doesn't even have a gas tank. He's a Tesla.
He's an EV?
He's an EV. He does, as long as the sun's shining. He does not run out of gas. He
EV
does
or
not
PED.
slow down. He does not slow down. So anyway, look, 308. It was a great card. I had a very, very good time watching it. Now we got the next one coming up in November, where John Coward Jones,
Oh my goodness.
instead of
Oh, a
defending
senior UFC.
instead of defending his title against the interim heavyweight champion Aspinall, no, John Bones Jones bravely runs away and is courageously going to fight a 42-year-old man who hasn't won a fight in 5 years. That's who John Bones Jones is
That's what
fighting.
the fans want to see, John.
Yeah, they want to see. No, don't fight the interim champion Aspinall, who'll probably whip your ass. No, we want to see you fight a 42-year-old man who hasn't won a fight in 5 years. All due respect to Stipe. I love Stipe, but it is what it is. Anyway, whatever you thought about UFC 308, jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.